Hello, welcome to Melissa's Healthy Eats. Today we're going to be making some pasta sauce, but we will start that pasta sauce. It can also be used for marinara spaghetti. But we're going to start that with making some tomato paste. And for tomato paste, we have to have 3 1/4 pounds of Roma tomatoes, because Roma tomatoes give you that really good umami, sweet tomato paste flavor, and a teaspoon of salt. You're going to start with cutting the tomatoes into quarters, which you'll see here. I've already started. And then I sprinkled some salt on the top of them. We will place them in a 350-degree oven until they are soft. Once they are soft, we will take them out and do the next process, and we will be back to show you that in a minute. Well, in a little bit. All right, so these are the tomatoes, the Roma tomatoes. And I forgot to tell you, when I put them in here, I actually had them down so they were the skin side down. And then about 15 minutes in the process, I smashed them with a fork. Some of them are a little bony still, but that's okay. So they cooked for about 20 to 21 minutes in the oven. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them in this pan over here and cook them down until they become more of a paste. But before they become a paste, you have to make them into a paste, basically. So I'm going to dump them. This is the tricky part, so be very careful. If you have help, have them help you. But be very careful, because you want to put this in the pan without making a big old mess. And you see that I have paper on here. This is parchment paper. This protects my pan from them sticking to my pan. There's nothing worse than having tomatoes stuck to a pan. And this just helps to prevent that. And then here we go. So now I will take my immersion blender and I will puree that down. Let me just stick my pan here a second. I'll take the immersion blender and I'll puree that some down. And then after it has pureed some, we'll continue to cook it. And we'll come back once it's done. Let me find my... So here I will show you. This is the immersion blender I like to use. I don't know what brand it is. Doesn't really matter. But I like it. It works really well. Let's plug it in. And be careful, because this is hot. You don't want to hurt yourself. And I keep mine in the minimum speed because I don't want to burn myself. And I leave the skins on. I like the skins on. I like the flavor it gives me. I even leave the ends on. I don't cut the ends off either. But this just breaks it down more, so that when you cook it down, you're left with just a paste. It takes quite a while to cook it down. Good 20 to 30 minutes to cook down all the juice, so that you have nothing but a paste. When you buy the paste in the store, you have all kinds of stuff in that paste. Citric acid is required because of canning it. The canning of it needs citric acid so it doesn't go bad fast. And then a bunch of other spices and stuff are in it. Pretty much citric acid and tomato. Sometimes they put spices in it depending on which one you buy. But just continue to do this until it is cooked down. I'm going to continue to blend it so it's a puree. So this has been cooking on medium to medium low, because after a little while it starts to bubble too much, so you need to turn it down some so it doesn't spatter you when you're trying to stir it. So you can see how it's gone down quite a bit from here to here. We still have a little ways to go. It's been about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes actually. It's probably got another, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to go till it's a little thicker, probably a little longer. I'd say 15-20 minutes left. See how it's bubbling? You want it to bubble a little slower than that. So I got it on medium-low. And then stir it often so it doesn't stick to the bottom. While that is finishing up its part, we are going to start a tablespoon of olive oil on medium in this pan. And to that we will add 1.5 cups of chopped onion and 3 chopped garlic. And just, they can be roughly chopped, they don't have to be small, because it's just going to be immersion blended afterwards anyway. This is for the tomato sauce that we're going to be making. So just let these cook until they are translucent, not burned, not brown, because that changes the flavor. And we don't want that flavor change. And then once that's cooked down to a translucent, then we are going to put in 3.5 pounds of beefy tomatoes cut into fourths, and 11 ounces to 1 pound of little cherry tomatoes that are yellowish orange. And then those will cook down in this pot for a little bit, like 10-15 minutes. And then after those are cooked down 10-15 minutes, make sure that they're soft. If they're not soft, then keep cooking them on a medium. After that, then you immersion blender it, add the tomato paste to it, and then some basil, which is from my garden. About 5 to 6 basil leaves. I'll show you that when we actually get to that process. But for now, we're just going to do this piece, which is the tomatoes, the onion and the garlic. Cook it down until it's I have it on a medium high, just to get them to cook a little more, because they're not cooking fast enough. And then we'll come back in a few minutes when we get ready to add the rest of the ingredients to the onions and garlic. I've just added the little golden tomatoes and the beefy tomatoes. As I mentioned before, we'll cook those down until they are ready. This needs to be about another 5 minutes, I think. It's been 10 minutes already cooking on here. So another 5 minutes, it should be good. And then this one we'll just add a little bit of salt, not a whole lot. This is like a 1/4 teaspoon little thing. So 1/2 teaspoon is all I'm adding of pink Himalayan salt. You can use any salt you want. I like pink Himalayan. And just stir it around. You can see that there's the end pieces on here and the skins. I like them. You can remove them, but I like them. Gives it an added bit of flavor, in my opinion. Some people think it's bitter. The skins make it bitter, but I don't think so. I think it's good. We'll let this cook on medium. Continue to stir this one often till it cooks down all that fluid, the liquid that's in there. There are some bigger pieces in here that I didn't get pureed, which is fine, because when we add it to the other mixture, to the tomatoes that we just put on, and we puree it all together, it'll be fine. Little chunks, no big deal. Alright, so that was only like 15 minutes. Tastes really, really good. I'm now going to use the immersion blender, and I'm going to puree it, because I like it more pureed than not pureed. You can leave as many chunks in there as you like. We use this for pasta, for spaghetti, that's what I said. Pasta, pizza, as a marinara. However you would use a spaghetti pasta sauce, like for whatever you use it for. But it works great for pizza. So we're going to pull some of this basil for the sauce that we're making today. And even though we live in the city, it's really not too difficult to grow them in a pot. And so we've been growing this basil now for all year, actually. It's now October, and we're still growing it. I'm going to pull off these little flowers so it will continue to bloom and get fat down here, basically, get more leaves. But you can grow this in a pot in your backyard, and they're pretty hardy, actually. Bushes. I mean, this one's almost tried to die several times. But just remember that you can get a starter set at any store, and then just pot them in your backyard, and you can grow them and have fresh herbs all the time for your cooking. So we're going to take about 4 to 6 leaves, depending on the size of them, for the sauce that we're making today. Okay, so I forgot to add in the 1/4 cup of green peppers. So I added them back in and cooked it for another few minutes until they got soft because I had them in the freezer. That's another benefit of having lots of vegetables. You just stick them in the freezer. If you have a freeze dryer, freeze dry them, which I don't have mine yet, so I'm very excited to get that. You can dehydrate them. You can do all kinds of stuff with extra vegetables you have. So we're going to cook this just for a few more minutes. I think actually we're done. Cook it for like 10 minutes once with all of the stuff in there. And since it's all in there, we don't have to do that anymore. So now we're going to add the tomato paste, which is done. You can see how far down it cooked down. It cooked quite a bit down. And then after, I'm going to turn this off actually so it doesn't burn me. We're going to add the tomato paste into the whole thing. It seems like a lot of tomato paste, but it's really not. We're adding the tomato paste. And then we're going to add all the spices. So we're going to add, these are from my garden. These are like 7 basil leaves. I'm going to stick those in there. And I'm going to move my cameraman out of the way briefly because I need the measurements for the other stuff. So in this bowl here, we have 2 tablespoons of distilled vinegar, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. I know it's a lot of vinegar, but it's worth it in the end. And then a 1/4 cup, which is like 1 whole lemon squeezed into there. It's very acidic, but it's really, really good. And then you add the spices. I'm not sure I understand. Oh, sorry. Then you add the spices, which is 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic, or 1 teaspoon, sorry, of granulated garlic, 2 teaspoons of garlic salt with parsley, 1 tablespoon oregano dried, 1 tablespoon thyme dried, 1 teaspoon salt. I use pink Himalayan, as I've said before, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And then we'll add pepper as we go. It's a lot of spice, but it's a big amount of sauce that we're making here once it's all done. So then we'll let this cook down for about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. About 20 minutes actually. And then we'll puree it down to a puree. And we'll let it cook and then we'll come back. So we made spaghetti sauce, and we made spaghetti to have with our spaghetti sauce this evening. And if you have health issues, you know exactly what went in this sauce because I will have all the ingredients listed below, and you watch me make it. So even though you can buy all these ingredients at the store, it's also a better, it's a better idea and a better for your health, much better for your health, if you make it homemade. You don't have to do all organic like I do. You can do whatever's available at the local store. That is fine as well. As long it's just better quality. You know what it is, and it's better for you. And it tastes amazing, not good. It tastes amazing. It is really, really a great flavor. I just gave some to my daughter when she came over. She took a bottle home with her. It made 6 16-ounce containers of sauce, which I think is a pretty good amount when you think about how much better it is for you. I hope that you try it, and I hope that you like it, and you leave me some comments with your suggestions or things that you made or did that you changed it. Hopefully it's good for you as well as it is for us. And like, subscribe, and have your friends visit the channel as well. and let me know what you think.
Suggest a recipe you'd like to see us make.
And then let me know what type of recipe you'd like me to make. I've made salsa so far, and I've made spaghetti sauce / pizza sauce / marinara sauce. Today, I will be making some homemade pasta and some homemade bread with the dough that I have found in the local growers. You might find some in your area as well. Just gotta call and see. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.